You want to do the cut crease? Yeah, on an Asian eye. I have tried to do it before, and
it's actually pretty good. What you did, I thought it was really good.
I mean, I did a cut crease with like black eyeshadow, and then the cut crease was white, so I feel like I made it hard anyway.
So I'm not gonna use this. I was just taking some like, wait, if I'm doing a cut crease, then there's no point of me applying the eyeshadow.
But obviously this is different because it's on an Asian eye, so.
Yeah. So the struggle, well actually no, you know what? I will apply it with this. The struggle that you have with cut creases on Asian eyes is that you don't necessarily have like a very Dave, exactly. You don't have a very defined crease when your eyes are open.
Mm-hmm.
So cut creases, you actually have to create a crease that doesn't exist, which is why it is so challenging on you guys. So I'm just gonna do a very, very simple eye shape, a simple like color palette. Just going to start with a light color and then go progressively darker as I go to the outer corner.
Hi, Toasty.
Toasty, hi. So, the one thing, what I realized, oh my god, when I did makeup school, the first class, eyeshadow class that we had was, just put 3 colors. Like, 3 colors, from light, medium to dark, and just put them like that, like a gradient.
Mm-hmm.
Just do a gradient. And I thought I was really good at that until I tried it, and I was like, oh my god, this is so hard. I don't know, like, why is this so difficult? And it turns out that brush pressure is, like, a really big thing when you want to blend, like, a color seamlessly into another one.
I feel like that's where I went wrong for so long, is that the brush pressure, I would just, like, smash really aggressively, just go backwards and forwards, and I'd be like, why isn't it working?
Yeah, and so, that's the thing, like, I would use, I used to blend with this, a flat brush. That's how I would blend. I would blend with a flat brush, which now people would look at me and be like, what do you mean you blend with a flat brush? Like, what does that even mean?
How?
But, like, I don't mean, like, in the crease, like, up in the crease. That I would blend with, like, a fluffy brush. But on the lid, I would just alternate between the light color and the dark color and just apply it on the transition. At one point, it would become blended. And when I went to makeup school, since I had seen, like, so many people use a fluffy brush, I was trying to blend that with a fluffy brush. And it ended up not working at all. But then again, it's, like, different techniques for different people. Just find what works for you. So I'm bringing it up a bit more than I would normally because we are doing a cut crease. You tell me if there's like, if the brush like stabs you.
You'll know.
You'll know. Okay, so we've had the 2 main colors down, and then we're gonna have the third one. I'm doing like a very simple eye color palette.
Isabel's saying, I'm sitting on a stool.
She's sitting on a stool. When she gets up, it becomes like a bit frightening.
Like, I wish I was joking when I said that she was small, but quite frankly,
yeah, this is just really weird.
I feel like this makes this really like.
I hope this is the thumbnail of the VOD.
She was like, what?
I really hope this is the thumbnail of the VOD, so that people just see the VOD and be like,
I can
happening?
change the highlight. So, yeah, we got to say like, what? So, yeah, it looks like
okay, in my defense, she is really tall though.
Okay,
not compared to me,
5'7".
she is tall.
on the head.
Yeah, you can't see it!
We'll just reenact. There it is. There it is.
She's 5'7" and I'm 5 feet. Laura, how tall are you? I think like you're the only person in the makeup community that I don't know. Like, I don't know your height yet.
So, I mean, this is why I'm sat on the stool today.
You're 5'1". Oh my god, yes, another small person. Oh god.
Laura's like, that's gonna be mean.
Yeah, so people are gonna meet Mel in October Just be prepared.
Like, I still feel like I'm average height, but not when that clip comes up. Like.
Oh.
Well, also.
Yep, Laura.
5'7"
yes.
to me is like, I've always seen it as average. I don't think like I'm really tall. It's obviously we've got two extremes.
Abu, the Netherlands is not a good reference. Okay, everyone's tall over there.
No, exactly high farm.
Most like girls are like 165.
Something like 5 centimeters.
And like you're 170?
I don't know. I think so. Yeah. It's not that.
I don't know how much is 5'7". Less than 60. I think the tallest person that I've ever met was 205. 2 meters 5.
Damn.
2 meters 9. I don't know, like between 2'5" and 2'10". And I was just like, okay.
Okay, cool.
I'm 6'4", and I'm the average in my group of friends. See, exactly, that's why I said the Netherlands isn't a good.
Not a good example.
Yeah. Y'all are just all tall over there. So I'm barely touching the eyelid.
I can confirm she's barely touching my eyelid.
I'm just pulling the pigment in just very, very slightly to blend it into the other color, and then we're just going to go with the mid-tone color and do the same thing but the other way around. Also, a good tip that I've learned, well, not even in makeup school, just from trial and error, is there are certain colors that are very, very hard to blend into skin tone. Blues, for example. Blues are just a pain to blend out. And what I always like to do, so I have an eyeshadow that I'm really sad because it's discontinued and I don't know, like I'm trying not to use it as much as possible. But basically what I use is I use a sort of a pinkish, so maybe not this pink, but like a mixture between this one and this one. These two. And I put that right where I want to blend out that color so that it gives like, it's an easier transition between, for example, the blue, because for example, I'm very yellow toned, okay? So blue, it's not the complementary color, but it's like pretty damn close to being like purple, like almost, for example. So by putting the pink, blue blends into pink fairly easily, and pink blends into skin color really easily. So it creates like a very discreet, like it's almost not visible, but a very discreet like transition color that allows you to blend like colors that are very difficult to blend otherwise.
Can you also explain, you know how we were talking about the makeup artists in like film and television last week about how for instance a teenage girl, how you would do her makeup?
Oh yes, oh my god,
I think that's
fortunately. I don't know how well this is gonna blend because I like waited so long.
That's okay.
But I think it should be okay.
Yeah, it's super interesting, and this is why, like, obviously, I think it's an absolutely amazing compliment for you guys to be like, oh, you should be working in film. This is one of the reasons why I'm not, and I can't really pursue. I could pursue if I really wanted to, but it's so extensive. The stuff that you have to do. And know, and for instance just the lighting on different cameras, it's very different to what I'm doing, and it would be completely different, which is why to me I can see how some people might think there's a link between it, but for me it's not necessary, like that link isn't strong enough.
It's becoming a little bit patchy on the outside.
Because we waited so long.
Maybe not. It doesn't necessarily... Being patchy can mean, like, for example, if we didn't apply the eye primer all the way, or sometimes if there's a dry patch, that happens to me a lot on, like, one eye. There's one area where there's a dry patch and it'll become patchy. there isn't like a perfect solution to that. You just try to work with it a little bit. And that's why like blending very violently isn't a good idea in those areas, because when you blend violently on a patch that is like, this is not gonna stick, then you're just wiping it away and making that spot like much more visible.
I'm a guy and I've never used makeup whatsoever. This stream is so good. The content is really intelligent. Oh, I knew makeup was hard, but getting to know how hard is just really great. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. And I think it's a good and a bad thing, because you don't realise, it shows that people are doing it very well, because it's almost unnoticeable and you don't realise the extent of how much you have to put into it. At the same time, it is also a little sad that people don't realise how much work goes into it. But as I said, I'd almost rather people thought that things were genuinely a real infection or something.
Oh yeah.
Than be like, oh well, it's obviously prosthetic. You have a solid passion for the film world, like for the long hours and weird schedules and demands, but I have friends who enjoy the rush. 12 out of 10 content. Thank you so much, Peace.
Yeah, Sabrina, I think you maybe know a bit more about that than we do. I don't know if you worked in film, but I do remember you worked in theater, and theater is like a similar rush that you have in film. So I do think that you probably have a better idea than we do as to what exactly it might look like.
I feel like I'd be too stressed to work in theatre.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, do this, and I'd be like...
Theater is really stressful, because it's like, the thing is you have a deadline, and you can't
Yeah.
go beyond that deadline, whereas if you do film, like, you can't go beyond that deadline, but in the worst case, you like, you still can, kind of, a little bit.
It'd be like, I just need, like, another 2 minutes, and it's like, okay, fine.
And the thing with, like, theater and makeup, theater and film is, like, you have very, very little time to do makeup on people. Like, right now, I'm being incredibly slow. I should have had this done in 10 minutes. Normally.
5 hours.
It's been
so-
5 hours. 10 minutes. That would be like the amount of time they would give me to do that. And if I go, like, usually you have around like 40 minutes with an actor, I think. Like for everyday makeup, I think it's like 30-40 minutes with an actor. But it's really busy. But like when there's something that goes wrong with film, like you can always, in the worst case, something can happen. And by the way, if you're a makeup artist on film, it's always your fault. Like no matter what happens, it's always just in case anyone wants to go and film. It's always gonna be your fault. If the actor is late, okay, if he was supposed to be there at 1 and you have half an hour to do his makeup, but he ends up being there at 1:15, well, you better freaking do his makeup in 15 minutes, because if he's late, then it's your fault. You have to do 1 hour and 45 to do 2. Yes! Oh my god, Leia, that's exactly it. Like, you have so little time to do so much, but you have no choice but to get it done, because you have that little deadline of being like, yeah, we're going live. Like, I'm sorry, but that's...
Pete says, can I just say out loud how amazing this eye makeup is? There is a contrast, but there is softness, and so it looks pretty.
Oh, thank you. So I think like Mel can tell that I'm trying to barely touch the eyelid every single time.
I'm wondering if she's even touching my eye.
I had makeup done by a person who like barely touched my eye, and I kept on being like, "Are you doing my makeup? Are you doing my makeup?
Just fanning me.
I can't feel it at all."
I heard that makeup artists that specializes in weddings might be making good money in comparison.
Yes, weddings are a really, really good business.
I think they're quite profitable, aren't they?
Yeah.
Especially if you can do the hair, is that correct?
Oh yeah, if you do the hair, that's even better. Or if you like partner up with someone that always does the hair for you, like you partner up as being like, I'm a makeup artist, this is the hair, and then you like create like a bundle. That's already really good as well.
Okay.
It's extremely good money. Yeah, I was told so. Like in Paris, I'm not gonna say this is like the rates for everyone, but in France, okay, it would be 150 for just the bride, okay, and one testing, like you do one test, okay. That's not counting if you need to travel for it. Like if you need to take the train and go to the other side of France, then you'll add that on top. Not counting like you do count the fake eyelashes in there, but if there's like any specific really weird things that you need to buy for them, you don't count that. Okay? That's like just a normal wedding. Indian weddings, those, it's 250. That's the base. You start from 250 and then you go up. Like there's like,
because it's so
you can oh my god, you can make so much money from that, because usually like it's like they like changing makeup looks, so you'll be like, okay, I start at 250, but if you want to change makeup look, I'll add another 50. And if you want me to do, oftentimes they also want you to do the groom's makeup and the bridesmaid makeup, and so you just start adding on over like a little bit more at a time.
So they change like their makeup like people change dresses.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And it's very complicated because you have to like organize, being like, okay, how am I gonna do the transition? Because you have like 10 minutes to do that change, like
to do such a quick dramatic change. So it's obvious something's different, right?
Yeah.
So it's more like a pre-plan, and that's really interesting.
But you get good money from it, and the good thing with weddings is that it's like it's networking without really networking, because like, oh, this person is coming to the wedding, but that one is getting married like in 6 months.
Yeah. Okay.
So
cool.
she's gonna be like, I like the makeup, gonna book you, and that's how you create like your own.
That's really interesting.
Really
It's a bit like one leads to another.
Yeah.
Like which says, I'm in the wrong profession. Where's the nearest makeup school?
It's honestly, so I'm not actually a working makeup artist. Leia, That's Strange, is, and I very much admire her because I think it's a very, very difficult profession to have. The reason I've decided not to go into makeup is because financially it is very difficult. It's very difficult to find like regular clients, to build up your network. I'm really bad at networking as well, so that's like really not the good thing for me. And it's very, very competitive as well. So it's like, hi, it's me, it's so bloody hard. Yeah, Leah, exactly. It's like, I feel like makeup is like a very, like it's idolized. Like everyone's like, that looks so great and fancy and cool, but like when you're actually in it, yeah, it's like when you love makeup, you're having fun, but it's actually very, very difficult. It's not like all flowers and like sunshine and...
But I mean, you went into makeup school with a different want from it though, didn't you? You just kind of wanted to learn more about it.
I didn't tell them, but I asked to go into makeup school, fully knowing that I didn't really want to go into makeup afterwards. They still don't know. I hope they don't watch this stream.
But you have that, and you have it as a skill, and like you can share your knowledge online, for instance.
Yeah. I really noticed I like in makeup school I realized that I love teaching.
I mean, if I haven't gathered that from today's stream, I'm not sure. So, I feel like it's pretty obvious, guys.
You work with L'Oreal. I used to work with L'Oreal. YSL, Lancome, and Armani. I used to... In the Middle East. Okay, I used to work for exactly that, but in France. YSL, Lancome, and Armani. Armani has a very... Oh, okay, so makeup production. Well, let's talk about that really quick. I see a lot of people
you have
like...
so much knowledge.
I see a lot of people on Twitter getting really mad. You know when palettes come out and they look like very similar? And people are like, oh, you stole it. And I'm like, it takes minimum 6 months to go from like, I want to make this palette to I'm producing this palette and it's like being manufactured. It takes a lot of time. It takes like, I think usually it takes around a year. But at minimum, if you really, really rush it, it'll take 6 months. So whenever I see people being like, there's like a palette that comes out like a month after a second one, and people are like, you stole the thing. I was like, no, you can't. Oh my god.
Oh my god, Jay Lassie. Thank you so much. That's so kind of you. Oh my goodness gracious. Guys, please can we have some hype in the chat for Jay Lassie? Jay Lassie, thank you. Thank you so much. That's so lovely of you. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness gracious. Thank you. Oh my gosh.
I just love the little alert.
You like it?
It's just so cute, like with the little fireworks.
It's really sweet. Look at this. Ooh.
I love that.
Thank
It's just adorable.
you. Ghost Maven for me. Thank you so much. Love the stream so much. Good info. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm really pleased. We worked really hard on it. Thank you so much.
But yeah, so it takes a long time. And Armani is like the exception. They do something where they'll do like a runway show, and they'll send, it's like, when I learned this I was like, this is insane, this is like, so, it seems like so much work. They send the pigments over to the makeup artist that is doing the runway. She'll do like her mixes, she'll send the mix for the runway, she'll send the mixes back to the lab, and they have 1.5 months to produce that. 1.5 months to recreate what she's mixed, create the packaging, create that. It's like a limited edition, as in like, oh, this is what was used for the runway, and then they like package it up in the same fabric that was used on the dresses, like the main like dress, for example. And I would see that and be like, 1 month, like even 2 months. It's just like, that is so fast to go from like, we're gonna find what she mixed, create the right formula, go and test produce it, then quality check, then be like, yes, okay, now we're producing those limited, like, I don't know, 200 units. Send them out.
200, like, for such a small batch run as well. Anything artistic is a hard industry. Textile photography, all of it. Yeah, it's definitely tricky. Sorry I got to go dinner time. I really enjoyed watching. I have several pages of notes and learned so much. Have an amazing stream. You've done such a great job showing and explaining. Hope you're making the masterclass. Thank you so much. Thank you. You make an excellent teacher. At least I know nothing about makeup, and yet I feel I've learned so much. It's given me greater appreciation for makeup artists.
Thank you so much.
That makes me so happy. Hi, Walker, how are you doing? We're having a great evening, thank you. We're running a class today.
So I think, basically, we're going to do the cut crease on this side. Okay. If you do not have Asian-shaped eyes and you're struggling to know where do you place your cut crease, what I tend to recommend is to place a little bit of concealer on your eye, open them, and then it'll leave like a little mark as to where, like if you place some here and you open your eye, it will touch the top part, and it will leave like a mark, and that's where you need to cut the crease. For Asian eyes, it's a bit different because you don't actually you don't actually have that, so you need to create a crease. So we're gonna do that. I've never cut a crease with concealer, so this is gonna be fun. I tend not to I've used very, very light colors, but the thing is sometimes I don't really understand when people see, as you see, I've placed the eyeshadow over the whole, all of the eyelid, everywhere. And then I see people doing cut creases, and I'm like, why didn't you just place it in the crease? Because the lash line, you're not gonna be putting eyeshadow on there. So it's okay when it's the eyeshadow is really light, but when they put really, really dense colors, I don't know, a red eyeshadow, and they place it everywhere, and then they cut the crease with concealer, I'm just like, oh my god, that seems like so much additional work. Because the concealer is gonna mix in with the red eyeshadow, and it's just gonna look like pink.
I'm good, thank you, Nelly's King. I hope you're enjoying our masterclass today. Thank you so much, Bibso. So kind. Warcraft says, where were you when I needed you in the 80s?
Oh! But the 80s were, I think, were a really fun time.
They were quite experimental.
They were no rules. Just do whatever the hell you want. So, when you cut the crease on Asian eyes, I always recommend keeping the eyes actually open so that you can see what you're doing. Because the thing with a cut crease is that when you cut it, you want it to be visible when you open your eyes. You don't want it to only be visible when you close it. So I always ask for the model to try to keep her eyes open, or maybe a little bit downturned, but not completely closed. And then I will just I'm sorry, I'm gonna be putting my hand in front of her eye just so that I don't bother her. See, so that's the thing that you also have to take into account when you're doing someone else's makeup. If I'm gonna do something on the top of the eye, but I take the brush and take it from downwards, she's gonna see it and she might panic. So it's best if I'm doing something on the top of the eye to actually start from the top so that she doesn't notice the brush as much. Okay. Close? Okay. So let me fill that in. Do you want a mirror? Do you want to see what I just did? because I thought you were trying to see it. It's barely visible in the camera.
Oh damn! Yeah, there's like hardly anything.
It's
there.
hardly anything. It's just because since I'm like trying to place
You
it.
see that tiny, tiny, tiny line.
Yeah.
There we go.
And I placed that like with the eyes open so that I'm sure that when you look forward, if you were to look, so if you were to look forward, no, I actually need to place it higher. Yeah, like there. Because when your eyes, because this is the eye that has a double crease. So it's like, if I place it with the first crease, that's just like, I don't know. It's more complicated.
It's
You really need to look like really straightforward for the eyes. You're born in the 60s, the 20... Oh. God, do you realize 2000 is almost like 20 years?
It's weird that people who were born in 2000 would be 18.
They're 19 this year.
Yeah, but like past the important point.
Oh, yeah. No, but I'm like, do you imagine that like next year they're turning 20? Like they're young adults now.
It also
Doesn't
makes it
that
really
sound
easy
weird?
to be able to tell what age you are. Just saying, if you're born in the year 2000.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's very...
Who needs maths?
yeah, very easy. Easiest way to tell like how old you are. Okay, so if you were to close your eyes, so I just really, very, very lightly drew that shape, just like a line, like an indent, and then I'm going to take the concealer. So usually I don't even use concealer. Usually what I do is I don't apply the eyeshadow on the lid to begin with. And then I like sort of do the cut crease with just the beige eyeshadow. We're gonna do like a half cut crease.
I actually prefer the half.
I feel like I don't really understand the full cut crease because it's very rounded. So I'm gonna round that up a little bit. No, keep your eye just open. Okay. Yeah, close. Okay.
Damn, we feel old now. Sorry for bringing it up. You was the early 2000s fashion. That was a questionable time. I used to wear
remember, like,
3/4 lengths.
wait, did that appear in 2000? Like early
I mean, I was
2000?
yeah. I felt like I used to wear them when I was
really
like
young then.
12 and 13. I used to wear 3/4 lengths, but I used to wear them with trainers and like monkey socks that I'd pull up. And I used to
Like,
have this
why?
fluorescent orange shoulder like cross bag, and I'd be like, looks great.
I'm totally fashionable.
Looks really great. I'm really proud of myself.
Remember like the low like waisted pants, like really, really low?
You know what? I found a pair, and because I had bought them without quite realizing,
Yeah.
and that is it's paranoia and a half. Like,
Oh my god, yeah.
awful, absolutely awful. Like,
And it doesn't suit that many people. Like it suits you if you have like extremely long legs, but that's basically it.
but also it looks good in like certain photos, but actually wearing them out, it's pretty mortifying.
Yeah.
Don't buy those.
How do you achieve the oval shape of the eyeshadow in the outer corner? Does it just happen on its own? So you mean this shape right here? So what I did here was that I placed the darkest eyeshadow in sort of like a triangle shape. So I went from the bottom of her lash line and sort of followed the direction that her bottom lash line like curves up, and I just kept on going.
Yeah, that way. Yeah.
And then I created a triangle to go into her above her fake crease that we're creating. And the sort of like the oval shape was created just by blending. So I would use a lighter color to blend it out, and just as you blend out, you're sort of deciding where the eyeshadow is going. So if I wanted it to be like very like cut out, I would have just blended it one direction and then the other one. Whereas if I want it to be oval, then I just basically do an oval shape with the Muffin top back in the day, not so much now.
The
Oh.
super low pants or an instant muffin top.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It's
It's just like,
absolutely awful. Why did we think they were good?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of stuff from the 2000s, it was just like, what? It was like a lot of fashion from the R&B, is that it?
Oh yeah, I think like
Style?
yeah.
Okay.
It was an interesting time.
I mean, honestly, the
don't-
music was kind of cool. I listen it now, and there's like a lot of nostalgia when I listen to like.
But do you only think it's cool because it's nostalgic though? I think?
I think I like it better than the music now.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
But
the
don't
music
think- I think it
listen
might
to
be
now is from like the 70s.
Yeah,
I like
yeah, it's
surround myself.
because okay, so I work in a garage, a bus garage, and so the people who work there, they put the radio on
Oh. Yeah.
all day, and so I hear it all day. So I'm just listening to like modern pop music kind of stuff every day, all day, and I'm just like, I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of it. I'm just like, yeah, you know what? I'll take 90s music. Like sometimes they'll put 90s music and I'll be like, yes. Yes, please. 2000 music? Yes, please. Okay, anything but what is going on now.
We definitely will, don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely still
We're going
be
for a
doing this.
17-hour stream, okay? No, I'm just 12 more hours to go, Mel. Okay, so basically I think I've cut the crease. If you look straight, there you go. So now if you look straight, you'll see that that the crease actually appears. It's not actually her real crease, it's just a fake one. So if I wanted, so I realized that the color that I put in initially on the inner corner is quite light, so you can't really tell that all that much. So I'm gonna take a little brush, like a bit of an eyeshadow, so I'm gonna mix it. By the way, all the eyeshadows that I'm using, all of them are either from Juvia's Place or Makeup Forever. Yeah.
You quite like Juvia's Place, don't you?
Well, it's like I bought 3 palettes from them, and that was like, I don't know how many eyeshadows that was, but like when I put them in my palettes, I was just like, okay, I don't need any more eyeshadows. Like, this is too many eyeshadows.
Yeah.
Because their
They're quite
palettes
big
are like,
pans as well.
yeah, their palettes are like $20, and you get like 9 to 16 eyeshadows for like $25.
It's really good value.
And so I bought 3, and at one point I was like, I don't need any more. Like,
And I'm set, so.
I am French. How does she have a perfect accent? So, see, this is always complicated for me to explain. I'm French. I was born in France, and I lived in the U.S. for like part of my childhood, and then moved back to France, and currently I'm in the UK. So it's a lot of like moving around. But my accent is from the U.S. I don't know how much of it is left now, but I used to live in New York. I don't think people can tell that though. Like if I say that, they'll be like expecting like a really strong Brooklyn
There's
accent.
some really, really, really strong accents.
Like the one that in the video that you sent me about the taxi driver just complaining about the way French people count.
Oh my god.
I love that video so much. I showed it to my mom. She was laughing so hard. Being like, oh my god, I never realized how ridiculous our numbers
It's such a
was.
stupid way to count. And then the thing is, like, okay, so I've always struggled to count in French. There's just a point where they give up, basically. There's a point where they just think any rules are given, and you're like, okay, trying to figure out a phone number in French. Good one. Just absolutely ridiculous. And I would always have like listening exams, and I just couldn't do it. And there comes a point. Which number is it? It's like 60 or something, where they just decide.
Wait, do you mean like in the tens when we start being like 70 is 60 plus 10?
Yes.
And then like we go to 80, which is 4 20s, and then 90 is 420 plus 10, and you're just like,
Who has the time to figure
What?
out that 420 plus 10 is 90? Who has the time?
and then you change their mind as soon as you get to 100, and they're just like 100.
It's so stupid.
Okay, it was getting too complicated, so let's just start over again.
And then what? And then what is it with the
There is
dix, ons, douze, and then because the
And one. The what? The when you have like 20 and 1 instead of saying 21?
No, in the teens.
Oh, yeah, you have 16 and then suddenly we start saying 10 and 7, 10 and 8, 10 and 9 and then like
well, why didn't you
20?
do that from the beginning? If you're gonna have that rule, or why didn't you just carry on and just make new names?
I don't know. Boopson, yes, I do speak French. It's my technically it's like my first language. It's French. English isn't my first language. I can say the days of week. You can say the days of the week in French. Yeah, that's pretty.
French is maths.
French is.
It is.
It kind of is.
It
So
is.
like, even 100, you have rules for 100 depending on what comes afterwards. So if you were to say like 200. See, the thing is, even I'm confused and I'm unsure what I'm about to say. So, I think if nothing...
That's bad.
I only know one person. I've only known one person. Like, out of all the French people I've met in my life, I only know one person who knows by heart the grammar rules in French, and that's my mom. And, like, he'll be talking and she'll just be like, no, that's not it.
Oh my god. I don't want to try it. I don't want to try my French.
She's a teacher. And
Oh,
she's
she's
like,
a teacher.
Yeah, she's a teacher. And she's, like, the only person I know that knows like how to everything.
I just don't understand. When we learned that, I was like, sorry.
Why did you make the French language that way? It's like it's all your fault, at least. Okay.
Why did you do that? Change it back.
Yeah. No. So like 200. So if there's nothing that comes after 200, and it's only 200. Since it's 2, you can put an S at the end of like 100, the word for 100 in French. But if there's something that comes afterwards, for some reason you're not allowed to put an S. Because there's something that comes afterwards. I'm like, that makes no sense, there's still 200, it's still plural.
Why?
So even in the hundreds, we made it complicated because you're not allowed to put an S.
I don't want to talk about this anymore, guys. I'm getting a headache.
Yeah, math. That's like the worst subject for math. It's like, I want to go back to talking to about makeup, please.
Makeup is easier to understand, and it's basically science, okay? Like, okay, maths is hard anyway, but maths in French is like...
It's like another level of difficult.
Why? It's so much more difficult.
No, I actually would like, whenever, I don't do it anymore, well, I don't do it, I don't say it in chat, but I always like, when you have like a donation goal, and you go above it, I always try to calculate it with a new thing before someone says it in chat. She's still trying to be as fast as possible, just like mentally calculating.
Mental math.
Like, okay, how much are we now? And
But honestly, I used to get so stressed. I'd be like, and then that's why I want an automatic one, so we can just do it.
Portuguese is quite confusing sometimes. Yeah, I bet. I think like a lot of the languages in Europe are quite confusing. Like Spanish as well. I find it very confusing.
I think I found. I wish I had learnt Spanish instead of French.
Gold or just champagne?
Huh?
Should we put gold or champagne on your cut crease?
Guys, gold or champagne? Which colour do you think you'd like? For a cut crease, gold or champagne? No, wait.
1992. Dear gosh, it sounded like a magic spell. 1992, that's the year I was born.
1993, but it's basically 1994. Because,
What?
No, because...
What are you talking? I feel like I've totally missed a reference right now.
Because, okay, so I was born in 1993, but it was like 11:14 p.m.
Oh my god, yes, you. Okay, yes.
So it's basically 1994. Like, we were 46 minutes out.
Yeah. Jesus.
Does that change my star sign?
She just. Oh my god.
Imagine if it changed it.
Well, honestly, with that new star sign, it does, right?
My new star sign means I'm a Sagittarius. Got you. Gold!
It was a good year. Denmark won the year. I don't know. I was born like in November, so it was probably after that. Gold. Okay, let's just go for gold, honestly. So I'm gonna go for darker gold.
Why?
Right here, and then as soon as I get to the inner corner,
Okay.
I'll put... Actually, I'm gonna use a setting spray
Oh, to wet the brush.
to wet the brush because the Juvia's Place eyeshadows are like really good, but they're very like powdery, kind of. Well, they have like a lot of like fallout.
Well,
can't see. It's getting late. Like, what am I doing? I was about to spray my hand.
It's like, new technique.
New technique. Well, honestly, it would work, but I don't really need to spray my hand. I'm so old. Oh, Jay Lassie's thought. January
Frank.
92. Dark times. No malware release yet.
From the 4 languages that come from Latin, French is the one that differentiates the most. Damn right it does.
Yeah. Portuguese, Spanish, Italian, and French. Yeah, so the thing is, the good thing though is that Spanish is quite close to French, so when I go to Spain and I don't know a word, I just say it in French and add an O or an A at the end, and I'm like, Spanish! And
Easy!
Okay, half of the time it doesn't work, but half of the time it does. And that's why I find it so cool that our languages are still like similar enough that I can just be like, I don't know that word, so I'm just gonna. It's like if you were to like try to speak, I don't know, some other language, and you would just take an English word and just add an O or an A at the end and be like, I am bilingual now.
Fixed it.
Fixed it. It doesn't work all the time, but I'm really happy when it does.
Like when you level up in a game, immediately you can speak 2 languages.
Yeah.
So it's like in Tomb Raider, she like reads. You can like increase your like language proficiency by like looking and reading more of these ancient history ruins, and so for some reason at one point she can just start to understand it.
Oh, okay.
Like I can now read like ancient Russian, and you're like,
Just okay. Cool.
just like you couldn't do that 15 minutes ago.
She's a really fast learner.
Wow, I wish I had those kind of mental state. Being like, got the language.
Got the. Wow, Lindsay, you look so young. Yeah. Okay, Jay Lassie, don't you think that Lindsay should share with us his skincare since he says he's so old? But he looks still like so young.
Exclamation mark LNZ skincare.
Lindsay's skincare.
No. Maybe I do.
You can double hear the alerts, but then that means you hear it.
But that means we don't hear double alerts.
Are you sure it's not that they hear the desktop sound, but they also hear the sound?
Oh, it might be coming
from.
maybe it's coming from the fact that I've got the. We're not using headphones, so if I turn this down, maybe that's better. Bathe in nuggets daily.
Cool. I don't know how you haven't gotten sick of that though yet. Okay, and then I'm gonna go in back again with that brush, initial brush, and swipe towards the shiny color that we put on. To avoid like putting gold all over the lid, I'm just gonna.
Oh, that's a trouble. That's something I always do wrong. Put the thing at the beginning, and then for some reason it's ended up everywhere, and I'm like.
Yeah, it's because you probably when you blend it outwards.
Yeah, I'm doing like this.
And so you're just pushing the pigment like further back.
Spreading it. Why did this happen?
I mean, it's okay. It's just like if you want it to stop at a specific area, it's best to like when you blend it in the opposite direction so that it doesn't like move too far.
Oh, okay. So I've been blending wrong. Even I'm learning.
One thing I've noticed, and I've told you that before, is like when I do makeup, I'll just be doing pretty fine, and then at one point I'll realize that I have like 5 brushes in my hand, and I just keep like. Usually, this has been really good so far. This stream, I've been like really good because usually I'm just like this, and just like switching between the brushes all the time. And at one point it just gets too much. I'm like, okay, wait, you know what? I need to put everything down.
Start like fresh.
Start fresh, and I start over again.
Are you coming to TwitchCon, Elise?
Oh no, I'm not. Not this year.
It would be lovely to have you. There's going to be some cool makeup meetup there, which I think is going to be pretty rad.
That's really good though. That like, it's becoming more well known.
Yeah,
I think
it'll be nice, and I think
that there's like actually a community.
Yeah.
Because
so,
for there to be a community meetup, there's like needs to be an actual community.
There needs to be
I
people.
think that's there needs to be people. So I think
to
it's
meet.
so I think it's really good.
I think it's going to be pretty fun.
No, yeah, I'm not coming to TwitchCon because just like savings.
It
like,
isn't expensive. Yeah. Because it's quite far.
Yeah.
Because it's quite expensive. 'Cause it's quite far. 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 '
maybe next year. I want to go to Twitch London. No, Twitch Europe.
Oh, yeah.
TwitchCon Europe.
Berlin, yeah.
Berlin. Well, I don't know if they're doing in Berlin this year or not, but...
Oh, I'm not sure, actually. I assumed it would be the same.
So basically, yeah, if you look straight forward... Yeah, so you see the cut crease where it ends.
Mm-hmm.
But your crease is like at least 3 millimeters
I'll go
lower
closer.
than it is.
Obviously,
actually.
my ring light's going to wash me out.
Next year, maybe,
but-
yeah. Hopefully.
So,
That would be a cut crease on Asian eyes. That would be how you would work it out. So you would place your color first. Use like a small brush to just mark it with the eyes of the model open, or your eyes open, just looking straight in a mirror. Try to avoid looking too like up or down. Just look straight forward and place the mark of where you want that crease, that fake crease, to end, and then just fill it in. We took like so long to do something like that, but it's fine.
It's okay.
What's the other technique we should do on the other eye? Or do you want to try to recreate it on the other eye? No, you don't. You're just like, oh, you've given up on that. You're like,
I keep being like, Alicia, like, I can do this part, and then I'm like, actually, you know how you're doing the rest of it? It's I feel like I'm doing this every single time.
This is last Sunday all over again.
Last week, I was like, Lisa, I want to do this really cool photo shoot. So I was like, yeah, you know what? She was like, you know what you want to do for makeup? I was like, yeah, I have like a rough idea. Yeah, you take the photos. And then slowly I kept thinking about it, like, maybe Alicia do the photos.
Yeah, you kept
No,
on
maybe
saying-
Alicia do the makeup. So I just kept being like, have you had any thoughts on how you're going to do the makeup?
She kept on sending me reference pics, and at one point I had to ask her, being like, wait, just to be clear,
I tried to be so subtle.
who's doing the makeup? I thought you were doing it.
Sorry.
What's happening?
Because you were so clear about it, and I was like, yeah, actually, I thought if maybe you could do it, that would be fun. Trying to be so discreet. I was like, maybe when she gets here, she'll think, oh yeah, she'll just want to do it anyway. She's testing out the foundation. Maybe she just wants to do it.
I'll just start and I'll be like, oh, 5 minutes later, oh, I'm sorry, Mel, I just did your whole face. Well, might as well shoot it now.
Well, you might as well just keep going. Sorry, can you,
I need to send you the picture via email, because I think it's like the one, I need to change it, because I think it's the one that I planned out to post tonight, and then I realized, well, no, Mel doesn't have it yet, so...
That's okay. Just post it.
You sure? Because
Yeah.
the best...
I'm not bothered. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Because I've only retouched one. I've like figured out all the ones that I need to retouch
Post
for
it.
next
Do
week.
what you want. It's fine. It's not a problem.
Well, not now, because you'll guys hear you guys will hear my alarm on this stream too. It'll be like in every stream that I am here. Every stream that I'm in, something like
It's like a cat
8:30
bell.
alarm. And every single time I say, I'm sorry guys, that's just my alarm for Instagram. Yesterday I almost forgot it. Do you want to try another technique on the eye? Like, what's another technique that on your eye, specific eye shape, that you struggle with? Like a lot? I didn't do the lower lash line. I feel like lower lash lines is something that a lot of people do currently. Like, as in, I was a genuinely scared Mel. Lower lash lines is something that people do, well, almost automatically now.
Yeah.
You feel as if it's like, it has to be part of the look, otherwise, like, the look isn't finished. I find, though, when you don't do the lower lash line, it sort of lifts your eyes up a little bit, makes them seem like
They're like.
more awake.
Yeah.
It lifts them up. Whereas as soon as you do the lower lash line, it becomes like more sultry, kind of like smoky. More smoky. But yeah, I used to do that like when I didn't do the lower lash line for a really long time because I would really like the way it would make me look really wide awake, as if my eyes weren't wide enough. But I didn't realize that at the time, so I would just like be like, yes, my eyes look really wide. They're really open.
I know the illusion.
Downturned eyes, which are quite difficult to do makeup on. Samantha Ravindall on YouTube has a really good tutorial where she shows how to do cut creases on different eye shapes, and she does talk about the downturn eyes. So downturn eyes, the problem is that they tend to look sad. And the main thing you need to remember when you have downturn eyes is to concentrate the pigment on the top of the eyelid it just sort of lifts it up. Like, for example, if I were to start bringing eyeshadow, oh wait, do I have that in the picture? Did I do that in one of the pictures? No, I don't think it's, oh okay. I think it's like a look that I did in makeup school, and so I don't think it's on here, which is sad because it would be like the perfect example of like, okay, sort of, okay, you can sort of feel, okay, sort of. This, okay, like this. On this look, I brought the eyeshadow down quite a bit on the outside, and therefore it brings the eye a little bit downturn. This is like very 20s. If you look at 20s inspired makeup, it makes total sense. They put a lot of the shadow here, and basically here. So at the top of the eye, and the bottom outside corner, which creates like a diagonal line and creates like this illusion of downturned eyes. So if you have downturned eyes and you want to compensate for that, you have to do the opposite. So I'm not saying put shadow like here in the inner corner, but put the biggest pigment, like the darkest pigment, at the top here, on the top outside corner of your eye. Downturned, deep set eyes. Oh, the joy that is me. Oh, yeah, that is like, yeah. Ravendell, yeah, high farm, exactly, spell like that. Exactly, yeah, how did you know it was spelled like that? Like, every single time I just spell it randomly, and I'm just like, okay, I hope I get it right this time.
Each time I'm like, I think that's right.
I think that's right. Yeah.
It's wrong.
It's wrong. But yeah. So for downturned eyes, that's like and same thing with the opposite, if your eyes are like going up, which is considered, like in society, people like when the eyes are slightly like upturned. But if you want to have them straight, then you would put the strongest pigment on the bottom outside corner, just to bring them down a little bit, the way I did for this. Just to make them seem straight. Again, it's